In and Out with me, Professor Yalman, from the TEDU radio studios at TED University. This is to reach out to those who have questions and want desperate answers. Why me? Because I've seen it all. I've seen it all in different aspects. I have been up, down, I was fired, I was hired, I was poor, I was rich. I fell in love, I lost my love, I became a kite surfer, I became a writer, I became a poet, I became a musician. I never stopped trying. At the end of the day, I never stopped trying. I never lost my hope. There was always a pinnacle in my life where the answers to those questions came. And if those answers are not coming by themselves, here's your chance to ask us. Ask us and I will answer them. As I say, life can get even or you can get a 7. So a 7 you can get much easier, not just believing in luck, but being persistently pursuing your path, which is your authentic path. Ask the questions. In and Out with Professor Yalman every week on Thursday with you.
Welcome to TED University's Radio TEDU Ankara studios. I am Professor Yalman and we are here with a new episode of In and Out. Today, I had so many questions about personal innovation, so I rather do a monologue of actually how to self-innovate. I know it sounds crazy of doing a monologue as such, but I think I do have tiny bits of good formula for you to follow if you wish to start self-innovating. Of course, I'm not going to be sort of describing the entire process here of the aftermath of connecting the dots after I ask these questions, but I think you can start off with, I think you can have a good start with all these answers which you find towards these questions, which are actually fun to answer as well. Now, first question that I want to ask you is, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Did you ever think about that? When was the last time you did something for the first time? I mean, we do things all the time, during the day, during the month, during the week, whatever, but when was the last time you did something for the first time? For the first time ever. Did you jump off a plane? Or did you go to a course? Or did you fall in love? Maybe you did these things so many times, but when was the last time you did something really for the first time? What was that authentic thing? What was that unique thing? What moved you actually after doing that stuff? So write that down. And if you haven't done anything for the first time, that's a good actually start off to the year for you to find something to do actually for the first time. Now, my second question in that quest is, who are you, what are you, and why are you? I mean, if you can say your name and last name, that doesn't abbreviate the concept of your core story. But if you were to give answers to who are you, what are you, and why are you, I think that's a good start of describing why you're here on Earth, actually. I mean, these 3 questions will sort of help you find that path. Why is that important? Because then you can choose whatever you want to do in life accordingly. Now, my third question here comes with actually a duo question. And I think the juxtapose and conspiracy behind these 2 questions is a very, very important similarity in terms of action taking. Now, the first question would be in this third chapter of questions is, if you had 12 months to live, would you live your life as you are right now? What would you do? And let's assume you have all the time on earth and all the wealth on earth. How would you live your life? Now, these 2 questions might have 2 different answers, but if your answers in context are the same, then why are you waiting for a dramatic thing to happen in your life? Why don't you start right now? Would be my answer. My fourth question here would be, If you were to choose, for example, 50 words that you use constantly during the day, okay? But just in a split second, write them down without thinking what these words are, all right? And then you put next to each word a plus and a minus. So if the word has a positive connotation, you put a plus. If the word has a negative connotation, you put you get a minus. Now, if the minus connotative words are more than the pluses, then your magnetic field is attracting negative things. So, regardless what these words are, abbreviate these words, sum up these words to 10 words. And from those 10 words, select 5 words which are actually your operative values. So these 5 words, whether they're positive or negative, are your values of operation. Okay? If it's sadness, then sadness. If it's happiness, whatever. If it's being a fast-paced person, then be it fast-paced. If it's justice, then it's justice. If it's faith, whatever. From these 5 values of operation that you chose from those 10 words, you have to choose one word which actually symbolizes or resembles your core. And what do I mean with that core? If the world would disappear, if you were to go through a fire, if you were to go through a loss of anything, okay, which word would be the word you can hold on to and be born again? So, what is your core? What is your magic word? So 50 words, and then down to 10, and then plus and minus in terms of connotation, then to 10 words, and then to 5 words from those 10 words, which represent your values. And then from those 5 words, you choose only one, which would be that core word, which will help you be born again from your ashes. Let's assume you were to select. Now, this is number 5. Let's assume you were to select 11 events in a chronological order, and you put these 11 events in a chronological order which influenced you very much in life, that you can never forget. These could be positive events, this could be negative incidents, it doesn't matter. For each point on that line, on that horizontal line that you put, what did that event made you feel, and what did that event teach you? So when you look at all these 11 events with the teachings and feelings, you will see a pattern occurring. That pattern is actually your habit of taking action towards things. So if you know your pattern, you can understand what your birth habit is in terms of approaching things or handling things, and then you can stop that or take it under control, not to sort of have a defect on your decision making. And if you understand what that pattern is, you can break that pattern and advance to a new format of handling things. So 11 events, which you cannot forget. You put them under chronological order, and for each point on that horizontal line, each event in terms of content, what did it teach you and what did it make you feel? And then you look at the pattern, how it repeats itself and how many times does it repeat itself, regardless what the event is. And then you understand what your habit is in terms of approaching things. Number 6 would be making a list of 4 columns. You list in column 1 your dreams. You list in column 2 your desires, your wants. I want this, I want that. Your column 3 would be things that you have to do. And number 4 would be things that you dislike. Now, you write these down, and then you look at this entire 4-column chart. Which column has more actually the stuff on it which you wrote, and what do you make out of this? Like, do you have dreams which are actually wants, or do your wants are things that are so mediocre that they shouldn't even have to be there, or the things that you have to do are so many but you don't have to do them actually, especially at this age, or the things you hate doing, you dislike, is so many that you are in the sea of things that you're not liking, but you're doing at the same time. So analyze that, and then in this chart you can see actually where your dreams are and the quality of your dreams, the magnitude of your dreams are, because dreams are reality, your reality. Whatever you dream something, actually you're outbursting to the universe a formula or a cry out for something to happen for you in the coming future, whether be it in 1 hour or 3 hours, whatever. Now, the other question that you should be thinking about in terms of this process of self-innovation, to ignite that, actually to jumpstart you for that self-innovation, is actually think about what you're being pushed to, what the society is pushing you towards to. And the way to find out is actually imagine you are holding a dinner party, and at this dinner party you are allowed to invite whoever lived in this world from the beginning of time, but you are limited with 5 people. So you're supposed to invite 5 people who lived in this world from the beginning of time, and you're inviting them for this dinner party. Now, who are these 5 people and why did you invite them? Now, the why part will tell you in terms of topic or topics where you are pushed towards to. For example, if you're inviting Beethoven and Adam and Ataturk and Michael Jordan and Mother Teresa, for example, and whys, if you put the whys next to these names, the meaning of these names and the reason of why will show you where the society is programming you forward. Okay, and not necessarily you have to go that path, but you are being programmed. So to understand why you're being programmed like that, it's a good way of analysis. Now, you might ask the question, so how am I going to find out where my heart beats, and how am I going to find where I should be pulled towards to? Then do this. Write 3 cities that you would like to live and why for each city, and then write 3 brands which you would want them to hire you, and write why next to these 3 brands, and then also write 3 jobs regardless what the pay is you would want to do, and write why. Now, the analysis of the 3 jobs regardless the pay that you would want to work in, and the 3 brands who would hire you that you would want, and 3 cities that you would want to live, and the reason why will show you in terms of analysis where your heart beats in terms of action, movement, culture, and alignment and desires, etc. So the first 5 people are showing you actually where you're pushed forward to. The next analysis is showing you where you're pulled towards to in terms of where your heart is trying to take you, because that's a different sort of approach that will bring a different sort of approach to your movements and motions and decisions for the future. Another good analysis would be actually the wall question. Let's say you're walking on the street and all of a sudden you see this huge wall in front of you. You know, it's wide and it's long and it's tall. What would you do? And how would you feel? The answers to these 2 questions will show you how you behave when things happen in life. and how you treat life. For example, somebody said to me, I will paint the wall in colors. So you see life as an artist. So you don't see any handicaps or any diminishing incidents which happen in time to you or towards you as something negative. You make you look at life as an artist, and you take that and you paint life so that it's beautiful for you. That's a philosophy. But you wouldn't know this philosophy if you don't ask this question to yourself. Another question would be actually to list your interests, your skills and talents. Now, skills and talents are different things. Now, talents are things you are born with. Like you can shoot the ball into the hoop, or you can or play any music that you listen to on a piano. You're born with these things, okay? Skills you develop. You work on them, you develop, like, having a format of beautiful speech, or writing, the ability of writing a poetic verse. These things you teach yourself. You practice and you perfectionize and you teach yourself. But the talents you're born with, you're automatically good at that. And then next to those, add your interests. And the interests, with interest I mean things that you would 24 hours or 48 hours or for weeks would do repeatedly, and you will not get bored. You will be focused, you will love it, etc. For example, my interest is to be a university professor. I mean, I love teaching. I could teach like 3-4 classes a day. I don't get tired during those classes. I am motivated. I am interacting with class. I have always a creative method of keeping the class engaged. That's my interest. That's my interest. But within that, the way I talk and the things that I tell, those are my skills, because, I did performing arts, I did acting, I read a lot of books. So that skill is developed. But what my talent is in doing all that is being comfortable in front of people. That's a talent. I always was like that, even when I was a little kid. And this brings me to another question. Ask your parents or grandparents even, what were you playing when you were a little kid, like between the ages of 2 and 6, before any TV, a tablet, whatever. What games were you playing? Those games, the content of those games is a hint of what you would be good at in the future in terms of occupation. So with all that, I come to another question, which is actually designing on a big A4 or even A3 paper, whatever, or on a Pinterest board, or you can do your Instagram like that, whatever. But, a self-worth map with pictures, words. When I look at that self-worth map, what do I see? Where do you put yourself? Are you at the center? Are you at the left? Are you at the top? What are these elements of being worthy? The languages you speak, your family, your past, your origins, or where you want to go in the future, your studies, your skills, your interest areas, your habits. What makes you very worthy? When you put all that stuff in terms of your origins, your past, your future, your desires, your dreams, your wishes, the way you dress, the way you act, the way you talk, the way your network is being built, whatever, you will see how worthy you are. Because sometimes we come with this scapegoat thing and self-victimization issues and saying, I'm not worthy, I never thought I could do something like this. But when you put it down on a big piece of paper with your frequency and write all these words and put stickers and put pictures on, whatever, you see how worthy you are. And in that big chart, where are you? Are you at the center? For example, in my chart, I'm at the very center. I'm at the very center. And that brings me also to another chart, which you should do as well, which is actually what is at your center and what feeds that. For example, a girlfriend of mine asked me once, am I at that center of yours? I said, no. In my center, there's only me. Only me. Nothing else. And next to that center are things which feed me. Because if I'm feeling fine, then everybody will feel fine. For example, the things which feed me is kite surfing, reading books, teaching, meditation, yoga. These are next to my center. These are not my center, but these are things which feed my center. And I don't put any other thing into my center. Now, other people, of course, there are other universes, and they will be like your electrons or other universes that you meet and you get attracted to, and they have their own centers and their own things, whatever. But next to that center, you have the things which feed that center, but at the same time, surrounding that in a spiral format are your values. The value list that you did at the very beginning. Put those values next to that. And with that, you are starting to interact with people, and you are not becoming fed by external events. You actually, your attitude, your flourishing, your way of action, all of a sudden is being fed from your inner self, from your own center, because your juice, your light is not something which is shining on you. You are the light which shines on other things. So to ignite that light, what is on your, describe what's at your center and what feeds that center and how you are reacting and acting with the help of your values. Once you do that, those two maps, your self-worth map, and then what's at your center and what feeds your center, then write down what your red lines are. What would you not do ever? Like cheating. Is that a red line? If you cheat, is that stepping over that red line, or telling a lie, or being very careless in terms of actions? But mind you, these are not red lines for other people. These are red lines for you. You cannot control other people's actions. You cannot judge them, but you can control your actions. You can put your own red lines. What we do most of the time is two big faults. Number one, we draw red lines for other people, and we're not control of other people. And the second thing is we remember things in terms of their endings. But things have beginnings, they have developments, and they have endings. Of course, everybody has everything has an expiration date. Every person has an expiration date. But something should be evaluated within the content of the wholeness. So with the beginning, what you felt and how it was, in terms of the development, how it was, and how it ended. So don't remember things, relationships or classes, whatever, the way they ended. Remember them as a whole unit, because that's where the beef is. That's where the value is. And then it brings me to this question again within our self-innovation process, as we are igniting that, is what is your value proposal? Why should people be around you? Why should people hire you? Why should that woman or that guy should go out with you? Why should you be accepted to that program? Why should that country grant you a citizenship? What is your value proposal? What makes you different than the next person? Of course, your heartbeat is different, the way you breathe is different, etc. But in terms of content, in terms of offering, what makes you different from the other person? So ask that. What is your value proposal? And from my brand class, people will understand the best way of finding that is what are your emotional benefits and what are your functional benefits. The addition of these two will bring the value proposal that you're aspiring. And then I would put a little question on energy. What sort of an energy are you? Like, are you a warrior energy? Like, are you like soil, war and your stamina is there, etc.? Or are you a conqueror energy? Are you like fire? Are you like burning and conquering and etc.? Or are you a magician energy? Are you a magic in terms of like air? Things are easy for you, and the way you act, the way you do these things are like as if you're floating in air with the wind, etc. Or are you a lover energy? Are you water? Are you like taking the shape of any cup, any object, and you're surrounding it with passion and compassion, etc.? What sort of an energy are you? Or do you have shifts in your energy where sometimes you're a conqueror and sometimes you're a warrior? Look at that, because when you're deciding on things for yourself or for other people, you are actually taking upon one of these energies and taking the action or the decision as such. So try to analyze what sort of an energy are you. And once you do that, then you are having all these different answers to these questions. And this is a very good way to self-start your innovation process, because all these questions, think of them of little dots. When you combine them, you have a very analytical content of yourself, and you can see yourself in terms of where to start with yourself, because every question will lead you to a process of activation or research or refinement. And then, of course, you can analyze other things for yourself as you put these dots together. You can say, oh, yeah, I am all this, but at the same time, I am an ENFP archetype or INFP archetype in terms of Jungian words. You can analyze and find out what sort of a human design do you have. Are you a projector? Are you a generator? Are you a reflector? Are you a manifester? And then you can go further on analyzing your birth chart. You can analyze actually also things which sort of influence your attention span. So you can analyze whether you have a ADHD, or you have a right brain or a left brain power, etc. But before going into all that mechanical and research stuff, or stuff which are being told to you through various tests and analysis, etc., why don't you just start off with you and yourself, just a piece of paper or even better, a notebook, and all these questions in front of you, and you start answering these questions one by one, and the answers you see is things you never thought about, or you knew but you never sort of expressed, or the things that you felt but you never had the guts or the bravery to tell yourself. It's like looking at the mirror, your reflection on the mirror. You are looking at the mirror and you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I see a different me, which was continuously there, but I did not look. See, that's the problem. We hear, but we don't listen. We look, but we don't see. So here you're listening to yourself, but at the same time, you're seeing yourself in terms of looking at these answers. Then think of this this world that we live in, this sphere that we're living. And imagine there is a stargate into your other self, that once you go through that stargate, then you're going to become this different frequency energy, which is actually shining the way it deserves to, because you deserve everything. That's why you're going to school, to actually obtain what you deserve. They're not giving you the right. You are taking your birthright to be who you are, why you are, and what you are. You are taking the birthright for abundance. You're taking the birthright to actually contribute to the society, contribute to world, contribute to humanity, contribute to universe, and you establish your own establishment of being a human, but at the same time being a spiritual being of accomplishment of your evolution in this energetic, magnetic universe, as Einstein puts it. So start with these questions. These questions, the answers will make you think, make you feel, and step towards that stargate, which will be your higher self, higher level of frequency. I'm sure you're going to have more questions, but that's why we're doing this program at TED University, Radio TEDU, Ankara Studios. We have guests and we're trying to answer their questions. But to have refined, clever questions, you need to start self-innovating first. You need to start the self-innovation process first. Then you are starting the deeply deeply acknowledged facts about you and what you want to put more on top of that. But first, the awareness and the self-acknowledgement of how worthy you are. This concludes my monologue of today's In and Out with Professor Yalman from University TED and Radio TEDU Studios. Have a wonderful week, have a wonderful weekend, and have a wonderful, actually, ignition of starting or jump starting your self-innovation.